Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Session 4, Joy of the Spirit, Day 71. My name is Sylvia, and I live in the Blue Ridge Mountains area of Virginia, and I've been doing Sahaja Yoga meditation for since 2001. Tonight, if you have not yet understood that we're going to do foot soak first and need a candle, you have time to get that together. So you'll need a foot soak bucket, a handful of salt in that bucket, and then a container of fresh water, and for your foot soak, and a towel, cloth or paper, and you'll also need a candle. So if you want to take the time to get that together now, this would be a great time to do it if you haven't already. So if you are new or if you've missed any classes, we have recordings on our website, which our amazingly efficient tech team will be putting in the chat for you. So you can click on that and go to those recordings and get yourself caught up. After this session this evening, which will end in about an hour, there will be breakout rooms, and you can also get caught up that way and also get one-on-one attention and help through our breakout rooms with an experienced Sahaja Yoga meditator. If you have not gotten a mentor yet, you are welcome to do so. Mentor is a wonderful person with whom you can be very honest and about your seeking, especially, which is a gift to you and will be a gift to him or her as well, because that creates that intimate sharing relationship about spirituality that's so special that happens with a mentor. So also, if you need an additional mentor because of your own schedule or needs, or you need to change a mentor for the same reasons, don't feel shy. You can ask for an additional mentor. Again, those links to do that will be in the chat, if not now, momentarily. So an ongoing goal of our session 4 is to sustain longer periods of silence. So hope you're enjoying those and that you will be ready in your desire to jump into those moments of silence and take advantage. Also, we want to focus in this session and in all sessions really on the transforming power of love, because that's what the Mother Kundalini is made of. So that's what you're in for. So today's topic is about being honest with ourselves. It's quite a broad topic. The agenda will be the foot soak and also a guided meditation in the first segment. Then that'll be followed by a talk of Shri Mataji, a music and meditation by our musician, and then we will have choices after our second meditation, where you can decide to stay with us in the main room, where we will discuss this idea of being honest with ourselves, amongst ourselves, or you can go into those breakout rooms that were already mentioned. So now we'd love to introduce you, our other presenters this evening, and welcome to Sudeep and to Sia. So good to see you. And would you please each introduce yourselves? Sudeep, can we start with you, please?
Sure. So my name is Sudeep Hegde, and I live in Clemson in South Carolina. And I work here at Clemson University as an assistant professor of industrial engineering. And I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga since 2008.
Thank you, Sudeep. Sia?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Sia. I live currently in Austin, Texas. I'm from Austria originally, a mom of 3 19-year-old twins and a 20-year-old girl. And I try to do some music for the meditation. So I think we have met before.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think everyone's met all of us before. So looking forward to the program, and from here we'll hand it over to you, Sudeep.
Right. Thank you, Sylvia. So, welcome once again, everybody. So, the theme for today's session is going to be, as Sylvia mentioned, being honest with ourselves. And we will address this theme specifically, sort of focusing more on introspecting and identifying some of our own conditionings. And what we mean by conditioning is, you know, we all, by virtue of habit or through just our upbringing, through in our culture, in our family, in our society, there are certain habits, certain ways of thinking, certain uh, just enculturated behaviors that we all have that influence us mostly through our subconscious. We have these mindsets, these mental models of how the world works, how we should be behaving in different situations, things that we must do or must not do. These are things. A lot of it is conditioned in us through our experiences. So it comes from the past, and we may not always be conscious of these influences from the past, but then they influence a lot of how we think and behave. Um, and while some of these conditionings certainly have a role to play um, in our growth, because there can be certain good habits, certain good behaviors, certain traditions that can help us. Uh, we also have to introspect sometimes and see if there are certain conditionings that might be um, blocking us from really going further in our spiritual ascent. And if there is a need to perhaps detach from some of these conditionings, because conditionings are conditionings, they are not necessarily the reality or the path that you should be taking in this instant, in this situation, right? So we will look at that aspect of being honest with ourselves. And Also, if you have seen the picture of our subtle system before, which comprises of these three energy channels, the left, right, and the center, the left channel pertains to the past and our emotions and desires. And this channel comes up and goes to the right side of the brain and matures here as what's known as a superego. The right channel goes to the left side and becomes the ego. So these two institutions in us, the ego and the superego, kind of define our individuality. Um, and there you are. So in the blue channel that goes to the right side of the head is the superego. And the superego is really it's sort of the collection of all of your conditionings, your attachments. It's all coming from the past. And the process of self-realization essentially entails going beyond these two institutions of ego and superego, which means we go beyond just this limited self, and we go beyond all these conditionings and attachments to really become one with the whole. So that's what we'll try to do with meditation. So as always, we will start with the foot soak. So if you have it ready, let's sit comfortably with our back straight and keep our palms open on our laps. Just take a moment to become sensitive to the way we are feeling on the body, on our hands, on top of our head. Can watch our breathing. Just take a couple of deep breaths and allow our attention to settle. And we will begin by slowly raising that sacred energy, the Kundalini, from the base of the spine up all the way above our head. So the left hand simply goes up like this, and the right hand wraps around it in this fashion. So we'll start just below the abdomen, slowly bring it up, allowing it to guide our attention along the spine. Bring that energy over our head, and we'll tie it with a knot to establish it up there. And we'll do this 2 more times. So same movement. The second time we will tie 2 knots. And the third time, 3 knots. We will now balance ourselves at the level of each of the 7 chakras or centers. So the right hand, we bring it near the left hip, raise the energy of the left, make an arch over your head, bring it all the way down the right, and then back again, raise the energy of the right, arch, and down the left. So we'll make these pair of arches for each of the energy centers. So we'll do this 6 more times. Now, keeping our attention at the top of our head, let's move our hand in a clockwise direction like this over the water, basically allowing that energy that flows out of our hands to charge this water and salt. So it becomes an effective instrument to cleanse us at a subtle level. So we'll place both our feet inside the water. We'll put the right hand towards the earth. Just make a humble appeal to Mother Earth to please absorb all the imbalances from my left energy channel. Everything from my past, from my subconscious, all the unnecessary memories, emotions that I might be clinging on to, consciously or unconsciously. I simply surrender. Because the earth has that immense quality to absorb. So we just allow our subtle system to discharge through the right hand into the earth. So as the left channel clears out, its subtlest qualities start to shine forth. The channel starts at the first chakra, the Muladhara, whose quality is innocence, something that we never actually lose, but the quality can get shrouded by many things, including our conditionings, fears, and so on. So as we allow the Mother Earth to clear away these clouds and shrouds, let that quality of enlightened innocence shine in me. Let me feel the joy of just being. Let me be able to enjoy the silence within myself. The joy of being truly free. We don't need to fight anything, any thought, any memory. We simply let go. And just surrender to the power of Mother Earth. This also allows more and more strands of our Kundalini to come up into our Sahasrara. And bring the right hand back. And now we will raise the left hand towards the sky, just bending the arm at the elbow, the hand facing backward. And now we allow the right channel to cool down. Let all the heat generated on my right energy channel dissipate into the atmosphere. through the left hand. We can also say to ourselves, I am not the doer. I am not identified with my actions, nor my thoughts. Everything has already happened. I'm simply going through the play of life as a witness. Can bring the left hand down, keep our attention at the top of our head, or just a couple of inches above the head, and enjoy the silence. We can slowly open our eyes and can take our feet out of the water, rinse them off. You can put the bucket aside. You dry your feet. And we will now listen to a talk by Shri Mataji, where she talks about more about conditionings and overcoming them.
We cannot enjoy anything in life. Really, we cannot. You can see the way people are now going on for such sensational things. The reason is there's no joy. The sensitivity to joy is so reduced that I sometimes fear, with all that they are doing, so fed up that they may have to put electrodes in their limbic area to get the joy instantly. They have become so very insensitive to anything. They will not love, they will not smile. They are so full of closed hearts and frightening things, whatever is said about human beings. Now, first thing you have to know, you don't have to suffer at all. Secondly, you don't have to judge yourself. Let your Kundalini rise and judge you. You don't start judging yourself and condemning yourself. And another fashion, which is very common, is to feel guilty. From the very beginning, you start, I am afraid. What are you afraid of? You have to have all the courage, all the blessings, and all the confidence. You are a human being. And this is the message I want to tell you, that you are a human being and you have to be the spirit. And once you are the spirit, you will be surprised, the blessings will be showering upon you. In these modern times, to talk about these things is out of date. But it is predicted that this will be said and this will be done. For us, it is important, first of all, to know our own glory, our own truths, and about how we are built and how others are built. Once you know that, first of all, the peace within is established. Unless and until there is peace within, what do you talk of this peace organization and peace Nobel Prize? I have seen the people who have got Nobel Prizes are the most hot-headed, so much that you have to talk to them with a barge pole in between. Any time they are up to jump on you, you cannot challenge them. Even talking to them is a difficult situation. So how are they going to have this peace foundation when they are themselves so shaky? Then you have other things talking about the love, full of lust and greed. They love your purse, not you. When you talk of love, love is a thing that's detached. Like the sap in the tree rises, goes to all the leaves, all the trunk, all the flowers, all the fruits, and comes back. It's not attached. If it gets attached to one fruit, the tree will die and the fruit will die too. So this pure love or the divine love is detached. That's why it acts, it works. A person who is a realized soul is such a pure personality that even a glance of such a person can do lots of things. Even a thought of such a person in the attention can do so many things, bring about so many changes. So, this is the time of our transformation. We have to become a higher personality. The transformation has to take place. At the time of Easter, we give people eggs. Perhaps people do not know why do we give them eggs at the time of Easter. But about Christ is written in our scriptures that he was an egg to begin with. Of course, he was much more before that, but to begin with, he was the God of innocence. But then he came as an egg. And then he was divided into two halves. The one half which incarnated and which transformed Easter. So the resurrection is the transformation. Like an egg, if we are bound by our conditioning and by our ego, we break through that shell and become a bird which is really a free bird. Only thing, the bird has to know how to fly. Now this is, again I am saying, is the living process of the living nature, of the living power of love. It is not something artificial. In Sahaja Yoga, I must have spoken in this hall, I don't know how many times before. And again, today there's a chance to speak to you. What I have to say that it is important, the becoming. Is not important. You cannot become a member of Sahaja Yoga. You cannot pay membership. You cannot pay for your realization. How can you pay? How much do we pay to the Mother Earth to sprout the seed? Does she understand? Because she has the power, she sprouts the seed. If you give her money or read something before her, it makes no difference. But once you get your realization, you start understanding how many powers you have. And the greatest power is of compassion and detached love. These 7 chakras are within us, which are to be enlightened by the awakening of the Kundalini, about which Dr. Spiro has already told you. Now, in this short time, I cannot cover up the whole subject. I must have given at least more than 1,000 lectures in English language. But I would request you one thing, that forget about what you have learned so far, about your conditionings. Because if you had achieved anything out of that, I was not necessary. Now, you have to see with a clean slate, as they say, what you can achieve in this lifetime, which is the most important thing is to be achieved. The highest of all, that you become sensitive to joy. Then you start seeing joy in everything. You don't have to think as, oh, this is the thing which is marvelous. No, it just happens. You see, it is. Just you enjoy without thinking about it. You become a peaceful personality. You become a dynamic personality. You are not swayed by the waves of things like some fashion coming up, then some sort of a nonsensical idea coming up, then some medicine coming up, and you treating yourself and getting into trouble. You just rise above all these things at a higher level, and you start seeing everything as a witness. You become the witness of all the jokes that are going on, and you just watch it, and you think, what's all this? Is just a play. Many people have said that, Mother, you always laugh so much and you have always smiling face, so the people are not going to take you seriously. I said, I don't want them to be serious. There's not going to be any seriousness needed. What are you serious about? You should be happy, it's fun. We have to be happy people. We have to be happy. Those people who think they are very guilty should punish themselves by saying, you are not guilty, you are not guilty. 108 times. That's what we have in Sahaja Yoga. It's just a myth. All these are myths. We are working with myths and making our lives miserable, which is meant to be joy, happiness, and all the overflowing blessings of the divine. Whatever I'm telling you about, we have within ourselves all the great powers hidden of our brain, of our liver, of our heart. They are to be enlightened. And then in the light, you see everything. But as in this room you have so many lights, you have to just push in one button and the whole thing comes down. In the same way it happens. But if I start telling you about the history of electricity in the dark and all about how it came here and what all happened, you would be just fed up with it. So, what we are doing is to tell you that let us put on the button first. You better have your light and see in that light if it is true or not. If it is true, you have to understand and accept it honestly. You have to be honest to yourself. That is the main point I'm trying to tell you. We are not to play about with ourselves and play about with our conditionings. We have to be honest and to get to our properties that are within ourselves. I am not here to oblige you at all. There's no obligation. It's just like a catalyst, I would say. And you become the catalyst yourself once you get your realization. And you can do all that I can do. It's very easy and very simple. May God bless you all.
Let's just stay in silence for a minute or two. So for this next segment of our session, I would like to invite you to join me on an honest journey of introspection. And that would require you to keep your hands open and feel. Feel what you feel. Just witness and feel which finger might be a little tingly, which chakra might need help. So despite me leading this meditation, you're more than welcome to use the knowledge that you have received over all these weeks and months. And in between, just place your hand on the center that you feel individually that needs help. If it is your left heart, you put it on the left heart. If it is on the right hand side, put your hand on the chakra on the right hand side. So just use the time to work on yourself as well as follow a little bit my lead of where this musical meditation will lead you. Now, honesty is very strongly connected to the Muladhara chakra. I remember a speech of Shri Mataji where she mentions that children don't understand when we try to explain the qualities of the Muladhara to them with chastity and innocence, but what they do understand is honesty. So let us start this meditation by placing our attention on the Muladhara chakra. And if you're sitting on the Mother Earth, on the ground, that's the best. If you're sitting on a chair, you can place your hands towards the ground. If you're sitting on the ground, you just place your hands on Mother Earth. We can close our eyes. Just feel this connection to Mother Earth. And ask Mother Earth, please cleanse my Muladhara chakra. Let me reconnect to this innocence. Let me honestly, with full honesty in my heart, look at my state. But not feel bad or guilty. Just see, acknowledge, and then work it out. So together we sing 3 times Om. It's a sound of creation, just Om, simple. We can say the mantra to Shri Ganesha. Shri Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let me get all these qualities, these childlike qualities of innocence. So this honesty to ourselves is also completely in the present moment. It's a quality of the present moment. Because the moment I start spinning any theories or lies, I connect to my past, my conditionings, or I connect to my thinking process of the future. So it's very simple. It's the most simplest thing really, to stay simple and honest. I don't have to make any mental construct to lie to myself or to others. So let's just be very aware that right now we are completely in the present moment. So if any thoughts are coming, I should be doing this in the future, later I have this to do, then don't give them any importance right now. If something happened today, oh no, this happened today. Just let it go and say, not now. Right now, I'm in a complete present moment. So to counteract these thoughts that are coming from the past, we can sing hum. So let's just sing hum. It's so beautiful because it's an affirmation. We affirm, I exist, I am, I exist. So by all means, you can place your right hand on the back of your head and tap, or you can just also tap on the side of your head. Super ego. And sing hum with me a few times. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. Mother Kundalini, Please remove all the superego. Please enlighten my brain. You're the one who works it all out. I just manifest my desire. Please help me detach from the conditionings of the past, all the concepts of the past. So let's move on to the ego who wants to be loud. So we can tap on the left side of our head and we say ksham, ksham, which is I forgive, because then we can really let go. Ksham, 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 ksham. Ksham, 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 ksham. Mother Kundalini, please remove my ego. Please dissolve this ego, enlighten my brain. Let's put our right hand on our top of our head, on the Sahasrara chakra. And we can say the Shri Kalki mantra, Shri Kalki. And we can massage a little bit. That means we bring our attention beyond thoughts, beyond ego, beyond superego. And we just say Shri Kalki. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. We can slowly raise our hand and see if we feel the cool breeze. Maybe higher and higher, we can see if it's higher. And then switch hands and try with the other hand. Maybe it's cooler with this hand. And remember which hand is cooler, the left or the right. So the hand that is warmer needs more help. So we can have our hands on the lap And one hand might be warmer than the other. So if the left hand is still warm, we're going to do a little candle workshop together. So you have a candle and fire. And if you have 2 candles, even better. I recommend to put a candle behind your left Swadhisthana, but be careful when you sit down on the ground. Give it a good distance so you have a candle burning behind your left hip, because that's a really nice entry point of negativity. And if you burn nicely there, then that's really, really beneficial for your whole of the left side. So let's have a candle there. And if you only have 1 candle, you can light it. Again, if you feel warm on your right hand, or you feel you're still very right-sided, more on the thinking, more on the hectic, angry side, then don't use candle. The foot sock is good for you, or the ice pack. But if you really feel that you could do, it's you can join me tonight and see if it feels you've gone worse, then just don't do candling. But if you feel, this felt so soothing, this felt so good, I need this, then use the light. So obviously I'm sitting on a chair, so it's really a little tricky to get to the lower chakras. Sometimes I even get up to get to the lower Swadhisthana chakra. Or just use the candle and move it, as I said, behind the left Swadhisthana and work like this. But right now we don't have to work on all the centers. We can work our way up and down the left side in general. As you know, we go up on the left. We can cross over to reach the right of the head. But be careful, don't go too close. You can also have a shawl, an old cloth or something to protect your clothing so you don't get any wax stains. So you can go up. And whilst we do this, we can say, Mother Kundalini, please cleanse my left side. Remove any negativities, any impurities that block my left side. In the Sahasrara mantras, you may have heard Shri Mahakali. We can say Shri Mahakali together. Shri Mahakali. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakali Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. It would be really nice to do a little bit of left Swadhisthana. So if you can reach, then make circular movements to your left Swadhisthana, the left side of your hip. When I say circular movements, it means up to left, down to right, like this. So obviously I cannot really reach here, so you have to do this yourself. And we say Shri Nirmala Vidya, and this is such a beautiful mantra because Nirmal is pure, and Vidya, like the Vedas, means writing, like knowledge, the pure knowledge. So we say Shri Nirmala Vidya. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirmala Vidya Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Mother Kundalini, please destroy all negativities that are bothering my left Swadhisthana. Any negativities may be burnt. So we're moving up to the superego, and again, be very careful. I've done this for a while, so I can keep my candle fairly straight, not perfectly straight, but I guess it's fairly straight. Many wax stains later. So be careful when you hold it here. I personally like to turn the head sometimes to the left to reach the back of the head, because I find it very good on the back agya to have a little bit of candling on the back agya, if you can reach. But again, be very careful. If you don't feel confident doing this, don't do it. You can also place the candle on an elevated surface, like a chair with some books on it, to get a good level and have a good distance, and keep it burning behind you whilst you meditate, so it works on the back of your head. If this is the left ring finger that you feel, then you want to work on the back agya, the back of your head. And the mantra here is Shri Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. So let's remove the candle, blow it out. I'm going to give you another 3 minutes, maybe just a little bit of music, and in this time I would really like you to be feeling your own chakras, your own state. So no talking. Maybe we can share the image with the hands, so we can see whatever finger you feel blocked, you can place the hand on the relevant chakra. Thank you so much. So this is your individual time. So maybe we can feel now this peace that Shri Mataji talked about, and the joy, because without joy, there's really no meditation. So feeling very forgiving, loving, positive towards ourselves. We want to acknowledge that we came here tonight to work on ourselves and hopefully feel better, feel more joyful, feel more balanced, feel more calm. And remember this, so we take it with us. And not forget, it's a good idea to start a journal and note down how you feel when you had a great experience or some troublesome experiences, even in a session, and write it down and work it out. But also for your memories, how you felt after a session. So we can complete the meditation by raising our Kundalini and 3 times. So we really tie a knot on top of our head so that our attention may stay there. Even if we finished meditation, we still are in meditation. And for each energy center, place a bandhan, that's a protection. Seven times. So I'll hand over to Sudeep, who is going to tell us a little bit about what's happening next.
Thank you so much, Sudeep and Sia, for taking us on this journey tonight. I hope everyone feels much better than when they started, and has a better appreciation for all these journeys of meditation, anytime alone or in these collective settings. So as we sit here, let's keep our attention inside on the joy, on the balance, and we'll just listen to these announcements, which are interesting and helpful to. So we are in session 4A of the year, called The Joy of the Spirit. It's on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 8:45 p.m. New York time. And it has started this session, Tuesday, July 16th, and it will end Thursday, July 8th. So just around the corner. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, we have collective foot soak and meditations at this same Zoom link and at the same time. And you can find all of that on our website. I'm sorry, you can find all of that when you join the WhatsApp groups. You'll get those links and announcements. So this Sunday, August the 4th, we'll be talking about receiving the love of the divine. So we've been preparing ourselves for that, probably feeling a bit of it. That's a natural part of the joy that we feel in meditation. So we'll explore that more deeply on Sunday, which is also workshop day. So to help us even more, we have program resources. Again, can't emphasize the mentor enough. Please make yourself available to mentoring if you haven't already. And you can join our WhatsApp group. You can connect with this QR code. It'll take you to the website where you can join the WhatsApp group. And also on the website will be all the recordings, as mentioned before, the joining links, the handouts, and more. So the next step tonight is all about you and your questions and what you need. So there's 3 ways for you to get your questions answered. You can write to breakout room help if you want to enter a breakout room with an experienced Sahaja Yoga practitioner in small groups or possibly one-on-one, usually small groups. Or you can type out your question and write it to the chat Q&A person who is always there. And also you could write to the MC with a question for presenters, and that's me. So that's SY Sylvia. So the next step then is to decide if you're going to stay here in the main room where we will share experiences and hopefully get to some of your questions. I hope so. Or you can join a breakout room. And those breakout rooms are being sorted now. So you can, if you're on YouTube watching, be sure and get out of YouTube and go into the Zoom if you decide that you want to enter a breakout room. So here we are then in our presenters share experiences main room atmosphere, and we will request Sia and Sudeep to come back for this sharing. And thank you so much for the foot soak, Sudeep, and the intro to this subject.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Sia, for the music and the
Yet
following.
another experiment.
We count on you for that. We know you're going to do something experimental. It's great. So
Yeah,
we're
I was thinking, like, especially in the first part, if self-realization were to have a background score, that would be it. And with that visual of the Milky Way and everything.
Yes, I forgot to mention that's a very beautiful photograph that was taken during a Sahaja Yoga Academy by the teacher Anjan Upadhyay, who made the photography course. He was leading the photography course, and it was actually there at night that he shot it. So it's a picture captured by a Sahaja Yoga practitioner, and as such, surely has beautiful vibrations. So I hope you enjoyed that together with the music.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at it, and it seemed like I could just go into the sky somehow. And I kept thinking, well, it's only a photograph. How is that happening? And the stars seemed to get a little brighter. So that was very interesting.
Yeah, 2 photographs, right? We had 2 photographs because the one next to the mantra was also by Anjan, and the long exposure, you see the stars. It's beautiful. So soothing, no?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it's just to show again that the arts, everything that is making us, that speaks to our senses, in this case to the eyes, right? And the music to the ears. So if we're wrapping ourselves in vibrations, in things that carry vibrations, right? If we pick things that carry vibrations, then we increase that experience of our meditation. So it very much depends on what do I look at, what does the area look like in where I meditate, and what music do I listen to? Some people prefer no music, that's totally fine. But it has an influence on our state of feeling, right?
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. One does feel absolutely enwrapped in those vibrations. I hope everyone here did. That's for sure. So I have to say, in the spirit of honesty, that I forgot my water bottle, and I really wish I had it.
Go get it.
Oh, should I?
Go get it. We got this.
Oh, you got this? Oh my
We got this.
Okay, I'll run off just for a second and I'll get it because we're going to be chatting and I don't want to be dry.
No, you got to do that.
That means everybody can go and get their water bottle too if they have to. All right, I'll be right back.
Spirit of honesty, go.
So maybe Sia, in the spirit of today's session, I'm just curious, what has perhaps been your experience in terms of being honest with yourself and maybe recognizing some conditionings and sort of getting beyond that?
Honesty is something that is very easy for me because everything else is very difficult. It has proven to me. I think I once tried to really put a straight, blunt lie when I was a student, just to talk about honesty in general. And honesty requires a lot of brain work. It requires a construct of thoughts and planning, which I don't have. And I remember standing there in the music library, and the librarian, it was something like, how was it? Yeah, I think I didn't bring a book back in time. And he said, where is it? I said, oh, I was sick. I thought I'm really, really good at this. So yeah, I was sick. I'm sorry, I was sick. And then we continued to talk about something else. And he said, yeah, and yesterday at that time, I said, yeah, I was over at the academy. He said, but you said you were sick. So within a minute, I already undid my lie with saying something totally that didn't fit to my lie. And I thought, you know what, it's just too complicated. This is embarrassing on top of it as well. It's too embarrassing, too complicated. And I think I took that from that moment onwards to not even bother to try. And when it comes to other people, I realized that people are so forgiving, and people prefer if you're honest and you make a mistake and you make a fool out of yourself. They don't have a problem when you make a fool out of yourself because they are in the clear. So if you are honest, and I've gotten myself out of the craziest situations with honesty. I literally found myself again in university, opposite of the pedagogic head of department of pedagogic, and I was meant to show 5 documents, and out of those 5 courses that I did, he found out, the head of the institution, that was the last thing I needed to get my bachelor in university. The last thing I needed was these 5 documents, and you get a certification for all 5. And I'm sitting there with these 5 courses, and he's looking and he says, I shouldn't really say this even. So he's looking at them. He says, did you notice that 2 of them have the same number? And so I did a whole course, and it was the wrong course. And I say, oh goodness, I'm like, goodness gracious. That means I lose a semester for one course that had the same number.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, okay. No, I didn't notice that. And he says, you know what? Don't worry about it. And then he grabs into his drawer and takes out a blank certificate. Okay, let's pick a course. He opens the book. I mean, this is really something between 4 walls, right? He picks a random course I've never done, writes the entire certification, and hands me over the certification as if I've done that course. And I just looked at him going, what just happened? What just happened? I said, wow. Here you go, now you got your 5 documents, off you go. And honestly, this happened a lot in my life. I think coming into situations blank, or really just not realize, it was never a malintent, or something happens and you just go, oh, really? And then these people just make it possible for you. And I mean, no doubt that the vibrations helped there. No doubt that it was really a blessed situation. So I think that has become kind of my philosophy of life, is just be honest, and people can actually handle it, and they come forward and help you, and they do things for you which are insanely crazy, but it works out. It always works out. It always works out. The crazy moments where I think, what am I going to tell this person? This is just, we forgot some. You just say how it is. This is what.
Yeah, same here. And it's so much more uncomplicated to just be that way, and I think authenticity resonates much more strongly with people than cleverness. And it's much more powerful. So, and just the same way, I think it's important to also be honest with ourselves and true to ourselves, because that sometimes we can end up tricking ourselves sometimes if a thought is inconvenient, where you have to confront yourself, and that might be a little inconvenient. So being honest is also it's the act of being honest, of saying something honestly, but also ultimately it comes down to just being true to yourself and just being without any facade to yourself, right? Just being yourself, which is actually a state of true freedom, because you don't need anything to cover anything, and that then allows you to manifest the qualities of your inner self, that joy, and just being in truth, um, which is what we get to in meditation. We actually cut through all the facade, all the superficiality. It's sort of the um, ultimate practice of honesty, so to speak, where there's not even a thought to be dishonest about. So it's almost like transcending honesty versus dishonesty.
So I have a question back to you. How would you know, or how would you catch yourself that you have just been not honest to yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like one symptom of sort of dishonesty, or where at least where there's a need for you to introspect and be honest, I think, is when you're feeling either some sort of comfort or feeling some sort of discomfort, or perhaps too comfortable sometimes, that your soul doesn't feel very comfortable. Where perhaps you're tempted to do something in a situation, and but perhaps there's an inner voice that is telling you to maybe be a little bit cautious, or should you really do this? And having the honesty to just listen to that. And I've found that trying to figure that out with just the mind, with just rationality, can be very tiring. But when I go into meditation and let go of thinking, then it just sort of the clarity just comes. I realize what I was trying to do. I realize perhaps what I was trying to get away from, and perhaps realize also that there is no need to run away, and I can just address it by being honest, being more surrendered. Yeah.
That sounds so nice, Sudeep, and the way you describe it, I think of my granddaughter, who's 3.5, and she's so painfully honest that she'll go against herself to be dishonest. Like she's been going through potty training, so a little late, maybe, according to some books or whatever, but that's the way it is. So and she gets a little candy, if she goes to potty on her own. Okay, so we're talking about that. This is really the basis of life, right? We're talking about innocence, and so so she's only allowed to have one, but the bag of candy is there. So she goes to the bag of candy, and she'll put them in her mouth really quick, and I'll say, how many did you get? And she'll open her mouth immediately. And it might be 2, there might be 3. Mostly it's only 1, I've noticed, but there might be 2. And I said, and if it's 2, I'll say, oh, you took too many. Yes, I took too many. She said, with great joy and great pride that, she's really enjoying too many,
Right.
But and she has no fear. She has no fear. I mean, she's not gotten retribution too much also in her life, young life, but she has no fear. She's just honest about it, and she's enjoying the whole process. And then she makes me laugh. She's completely off the hook. I'm not going to discipline her once she's got 2 candies in there. And I'll just remind her that, okay, next time only 1. Okay, she says, and she's fine. But what I've really noticed is that the joy, she has complete joy and fearlessness because she's so honest. And she runs off and plays, giggling or something. And if she had to be, subterfuge, about it, to use that subterfuge, then she wouldn't have a good day. She'd be constantly watching to see if I'm watching her or something like that. So the rest of the day just evolves so nicely as well.
Yeah. I guess that also kind of relates to how we interact with our conditionings, right? Because often conditionings are coming from, say, family or upbringing or society or just the place we're in. And we might be doing something just out of fear of how we might look, and which may not be honest to ourselves. So it's so sometimes. So I think to be honest, you have to be fearless, or at least have to overcome fear. And I think that was a great example. And children have that innocence, and they don't know what fear is unless we put it into them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it clearly ties into with experience, right? I mean, kids do that. They will test. What happens if, right? If I try that, they test our boundaries. They test everything out. But when we get older and we know very well, so we go back to this experience to see what worked and what didn't work. And maybe for some people, the lying worked and the lying to themselves works. But I think the moment we get our self-realization is just where it all gets exposed. Because the moment we do things that go against our spirit or against our meditation, we just don't feel good. It's very simple. So we can lie to ourselves and say, yeah, maybe tonight I'm just not gonna meditate. I'd rather go to this club and drink and get drunk and come home, but the next day is just not a very great day. So things like that. So I think it does tie in with experience. This experience of what happens if I'm listening to this inner voice, or if I don't listen to this inner voice, right? I mean, that's maybe one way I could relate to the being honest to yourself. But I think also what's very important is that there will always be people who will tell us things. And even here in our meetings, and I think it's very important that we always put not our own ego, but we put our own instincts first. We have to not forget, even if somebody may come and say something. We talked before this program, we talked about there's the expression not to be brutally honest. Some people might come and be very harsh. They might just be very brutally honest to and be hurtful. So that's not a way to go by either. This is not a way how we do things. We want to be honest with love. We want to be and that also goes for ourselves. We want to be honest with love and with diplomacy. And more important is the well-being of the person. And I mean, there's also the little white lie, right? We sometimes tell a little white lie to get the nudge to that person, that is also there. So brutally honest can be hurtful, can be actually not a good quality either. So it has to be an honesty that is from the heart, that is connected to the benevolence of myself and also the other person. And towards ourselves, this is the same thing. It's the same thing. We have to be having that benevolence towards ourselves. And if somebody were to be brutally harsh to us, we have to always believe ourselves. And this is where meditation helps us to really believe, okay, you say this, may be true, but you know what? This is what I feel. This is what my vibrations say. This is what my inner voice says. And you hold on to that. Even from people who seem very convincing or very holy or whatever. Still, we've had all these experiences, right? Anything, for me, one of the guiding things has become a person who makes you feel little. That's just not that's not the real deal. So somebody who makes me feel little or intimidated, then that can't be the real deal. As saintly as they come across, as wonderful as they come across, as wow, put them on a pedestal. I've put people on a pedestal. We all do it at one point. But when you feel that this person makes me little, belittled, and I feel bad about myself, then we should wake up and realize you gotta connect to yourself. You gotta really connect to yourself. And for that, it's so, so, so important that we clear out, that we have a healthy image, a healthy, clean mirror. We clean our system like a clean mirror. So we see what's really going on. And then we can be brutally honest with ourselves, but we can live with it without feeling immediately guilty, We can live with ourselves, looking at ourselves, saying, okay, I know this is not right, but you know what? I'm a good person. I have a good heart, or something like that. And I can work this out, because a lot of things that seem very big may just work out. We just sit down, take the candle, work it out, and don't dwell on it and say, oh no, I have this
Oh,
catch.
absolutely
No,
not.
just go and work it out. Take the candle, it's gone.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
You would, yeah, absolutely. We have the tools. And also we have to ask ourselves, I mean, what's the point of honesty? Which you touched on, and so did Sudeep. What is the point of honesty? Are we just there to sort of wave a flag about what we think about our opinions or something? Or is it something deeper, so meaningful? What do we want from our honesty? We want to help someone. We want to touch on a core that may, bring their attention in a sharper focus to themselves, help them become more joyful, help their meditation or whatever it is. And for that, since we have our realization, we have multitudes of ways. And we can talk about vibrations, we can talk about chakras. We can also, if you have a good relationship with somebody, maybe about personal things, and kind of wind into a way. I find that for that, listening is very helpful. Letting other people talk without making them feel judged. It's such a superpower, really, listening. It's not one I used much before realization, I have to admit, very honestly. But it turns out that listening is quite a superpower. And before I listen better to both of you in a minute, I want to share, though, a story that kind of goes with that idea of the spirit of honesty. I was also remembering something that Shri Mataji talked about. She was describing her son-in-law as a very honest person. So she brought a certain situation to him where there was an interaction, and I don't remember it. I'm not sure if it was shared between two people. And she asked him about the outcome. And he said that the answer someone gave to another, he said like this, he said, yes, it was honest, but it wasn't in the spirit of honesty. So powerful. And when you were telling your story about getting, your baccalaureate, anyway, Sia, I felt like that dean was like, hey, this girl deserves it. I'm not going to hang her up for another semester. In the spirit of honesty, she's ready to fly. Give her a bachelor's. And for that, it takes those qualities, doesn't it? Those deeper qualities of innocence and wisdom for him to know in an instant what to do and not overly think it or question himself. That was in the spirit of honesty.
Because you appeal that. Exactly. If we as people who meditate, who have vibrations, other people feel that you're actually authentic, the authenticity, that you're not coming, they really look through you. And if you ask me about children education, I could talk another hour, because they look right through you. They look through, if you tell them, be like that, do like that, you do something else, and it does happen, but at least then you be open and honest about it, and it's not a big deal. But it becomes a big deal if you make a construct around it. So people feel your authenticity for sure. They pick up on that.
Yeah.
That just reminded me of like at a very, very different level, sort of on a political level. Just watching the movie Abraham Lincoln or Lincoln. And Lincoln was known as Honest Abe, so he was known for his honesty. And yet, there's a scene, I forget the details of it, but they're trying to pass the law in the Senate to get slavery abolished. But then they run into some sort of a bureaucratic loophole, which requires the president's signature. And like these two scouts, they run to him, and somehow he signs it, even though there isn't necessarily a meeting held or anything, or any consensus built to do that. But he just does it because in the spirit of honesty, even though technically it may not be the right way, because it's actually serving a much larger purpose.
That's it.
So yeah, so that it just reminded me of that. Sometimes we could get stuck into these, driven by our conditionings into what may seem like honest in a very worldly sense, but actually is just falsehood in a spiritual sense, I guess.
Mhm. And
So
when you
it's
have
important to be
that,
aware of that. So
yeah, so nice. So nice. Oh, I had forgotten Honest Abe. I'd actually forgotten that. And, Shri Mataji admired Abraham Lincoln so much. I mean, he's such an admirable character. He was also known to, like, he would get a letter from a lot of people would write to him and he would answer them himself. And again, this is really nitty-gritty stuff. So maybe two sweethearts, the boy would come home from the war and visit his sweetheart, and he goes back to war, and then the girl is left at home, and she writes this heartfelt letter to Mr. Lincoln. We behaved like married people, Mr. Lincoln, and we know we shouldn't have. But now, what can I do? I need my husband. I need him to be my husband and to be a father of this child that's coming. And Abraham Lincoln would say, send him to her, And that's breaking every rule. He should be out there killing, and fighting the war and all that. But in his graciousness and in his wisdom, he saved, look at the lives he saved. He saved the unborn child's life in many ways, from being born without a daddy. He saved the daddy, you can say, from all that. And then, the honor of the family was restored. I mean, it can go in many, many layers. To think that he had that, rather than following the rules, there's a rule of kind of the heart, or I guess we've said the spirit of honesty, and the spirit resides in the heart. So very interesting. Now, we're not advocating everybody go out and break rules.
Gosh.
But with vibrations is the point, is
Yeah.
that we're making, is that there's like you said, Sudeep, serving a higher purpose. It's then it's benevolent for everyone. It's benevolent for everyone. And you can see it as repercussions of benevolence that follow from the decision in so many lives. Probably much more than that soldier had stayed on the battlefield or whatever, my opinion, maybe, but still, that's only one example.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we are. Well, I don't think we've received, I don't believe, let me see, I have to look a little closer if there's any questions in the chat about, oh, there's two lovely comments about the music. The music was so beautiful, and music was just amazing and beautiful. Thank you. So
Thank
those
you.
comments are there, but no questions about honesty. So let's see. Do we want to wrap up with any?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do we have
Honestly,
any?
yes.
You said very emphatically. Okay. Do we have any closing words we want to say?
Wishing everybody an honest introspection, a great journey into their meditation, and a great night from my side.
Yes,
beautiful,
from me as
yeah.
well.
Great.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Yes.
Bye.
Night. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining us. Such a privilege to be with you all. Good night.